From a purple-skinned kid who just learned how to fly to the most terrifyingly overpowered Viltrumite who has ever lived, Invincible is absolutely stacked with formidable characters. Here are the 10 most powerful characters in Invincible Season 4. Number 10. Oliver Grayson. Kicking things off at number 10, we have Oliver Grayson, also known as Kid Omniman. And honestly, the fact that he is on this list at all is kind of insane when you think about it. This kid is technically not even 2 years old. Because his mom Andressa was a Thraxan, Oliver ages at a ridiculously accelerated rate, so he went from being a baby in Season 2 to a full-on preteen with superpowers in Season 3. His Viltrumite genetics are dominant, which means he has essentially developed into a near-pure Viltrumite despite being a hybrid. He can fly, he has got superhuman strength and durability, a healing factor, super speed, and all the usual Grayson family perks. The kid literally fought during the Invincible War and survived encounters with Viltrumite-level threats at an age where most children are learning multiplication tables. Now, the reason he is at number 10 and not higher is pretty straightforward. He is still developing. His powers are there, but they are not fully matured yet, and he lacks the combat experience that basically every other person on this list has. In the comics, Oliver eventually grows into young Omniman and becomes a legitimately dangerous fighter, but at this point in the show, he is still the little brother who is learning the ropes. That said, do not sleep on Oliver. He has the Viltrumite blood running through his veins, and his ceiling is absolutely massive. He also has this interesting edge where, because he is not human at all, just Viltrumite and Thraxan, he does not always have the same moral hesitations Mark does. He has been willing to take more extreme measures from the start, which, in a war like this one, could actually be an asset. Number 9. Dinosaurus. Coming in at number 9 is the one and only Dinosaurus, and this character is going to be a problem. David Anders is just a regular dude, kind of scrawny, nothing special about him physically at all. But whenever he experiences feelings of intense boredom or emotional apathy, he involuntarily transforms into a massive red, humanoid dinosaur with superhuman strength, durability, agility, and razor-sharp claws and teeth. The transformation also flips a switch in his brain that cranks his intellect up to genius-level territory. So you are not just getting a monster, you are getting a monster who is smarter than almost everyone in the room. What makes Dinosaurus truly dangerous is not just his raw power though, it is his ideology. This guy genuinely believes that in order for humanity to thrive, sometimes people have to die. He is a radical utilitarian taken to its most extreme conclusion. In the comics, he literally destroyed Las Vegas with planted bombs because he calculated that the destruction would lead to the construction of a massive solar power plant that could power half the country. And the terrifying part is that he was right. The math checked out. That is why Invincible actually teamed up with him for a while. Now, in terms of fighting ability, Dinosaurus can throw down. He tanked city-level explosions. He could trade blows with Invincible, and he even went toe-to-toe with Omnipotus and managed to take him out. But he has his limits. When he tried to scratch Thrag, his own claws broke. When he tried to bite Thrag, his teeth shattered. That right there tells you everything you need to know about the gap between Dinosaurus and the top tier of this list. He is a serious threat on Earth, but against the Viltrumite elite, he is outmatched physically. His real weapon is that brain. Number 8. Adam Eve. At number 8, we have Adam Eve, and I need to be very clear about something before we go any further. Eve's placement this low is exclusively about where she is right now in the show, not where she ends up. Because if we are talking about her full potential with zero mental blocks, Adam Eve is arguably the single most powerful character in the entire Invincible universe. Her power is subatomic matter manipulation. She can rearrange the molecular structure of literally anything in her vicinity. She can create weapons, shields, constructs, turn one substance into another, fly, and essentially reshape reality around her on a molecular level. The catch is that when she was created as a government experiment, mental blocks were implanted in her brain that prevent her from manipulating living organic matter. That one limitation is the only thing standing between Eve and actual omnipotence. Here's where it gets wild though. Whenever Eve experiences extreme trauma or is on the brink of death, those mental blocks temporarily override, In those moments, her power becomes essentially limitless. She can reconstruct her own body, resurrect herself and others, and even enhance someone else's powers. In the comics, she literally brings herself and Mark back from death after Thrag kills them and gives them both a power boost in the process. And in the final issue of the entire series, after living a full life to old age, Eve dies naturally, and her body just rebuilds itself into a younger version. She is functionally immortal. But right now, Eve has not unlocked anywhere close to that level of control. She is still limited by her mental blocks for the most part, and while she is incredibly versatile and can hold her own against serious threats like Conquest and Universa, she is not yet the near goddess she becomes later. Give it time though. Eve's power curve is the steepest in the entire show. Number 7. Thetus. Now at number 7 is Thetus. Thetus is the head of the Coalition of Planets, the massive intergalactic alliance that exists solely to oppose the Viltrumite Empire. He comes across as this wise, noble leader figure, a kind of Optimus Prime in space, which is hilarious because Peter Cullen literally voices Optimus Prime. But here's the thing about Thetus that changes everything. He is a Viltrumite, the first Viltrumite to ever rebel against the Empire. He is ancient even by Viltrumite standards, having escaped from Viltrum over 1,000 years ago and spending that entire time building the Coalition from the ground up. That means Thetus has the full Viltrumite power set: superhuman strength, speed, durability, flight, healing factor, all of it. And he has had literally a millennium more experience than most of the fighters on this list. He helped fly through the planet Viltrum alongside Mark and Nolan, destroying it in one devastating blow during the Viltrumite War. That is a planet-level feat. He also killed the former Viltrumite Emperor, Lord Argyle, which is what kicked off the entire chain of events that led to Thrag becoming Grand Regent. So Thetus is a legitimately elite Viltrumite warrior who has been fighting this war longer than anyone else alive. His weakness is that he is old, even for a Viltrumite, and in the comics, Thrag eventually rips his head clean off during the battle for Viltrum to avenge Argyle. That moment is going to be absolutely devastating when Season 4 gets to it. Number 6. The Great Beast. At number 6, we have what might be the most mysterious entry on this list, the Great Beast himself. This is a completely show original edition that never happened in the comics. Robert Kirkman has openly said that he always wanted to do a storyline where Mark goes to hell and fights the Great Beast, but never got around to it in the comic run. The animated show is finally making it happen in Season 4, specifically in Episode 4, which Kirkman wrote himself. We saw the setup in the Season 3 post-credits scene where Damien Darkblood, the demon detective who was banished to hell by Cecil back in Season 1, was shown talking to Satan about a war that would drag Mark into the underworld. Now we do not know the full extent of his powers yet, since this is brand new territory, but consider the context. If Damien Darkblood, who is already a demon with magic, teleportation, psychometry, occult knowledge, and a paranormal aura, is basically a low-ranking escapee from hell, then the ruler of that entire dimension should be exponentially more powerful. Physical strength means nothing when you are talking about a being with potentially limitless supernatural and magical abilities. Number 5. Omniman. At number 5, we have the man who started it all, Nolan Grayson, Omniman. Nolan is a full-blooded Viltrumite who was sent to Earth to prepare it for conquest, fell in love with a human woman, had a son, and then everything fell apart in the most violent way imaginable. By Season 4, Nolan is in a very different place. He has turned against the Empire, he is working with the Coalition, and he is gearing up to fight alongside Mark in the Viltrumite War. Power-wise, Omni-Man is an absolute beast, a guy who casually flew through a planet when he, Mark, and Thetus destroyed Viltrum. He traveled from Earth to another galaxy in about a week. He can survive in the vacuum of space, he has a healing factor, he hits hard enough to cause continent-level devastation, and he has thousands of years of combat experience. The reason he is at 5 and not higher is because we know from both the comics and the show that Nolan is definitively below the top-tier characters above him on this list. He is elite among Viltrumites, but he is not the strongest. And in a season where the strongest Viltrumite who ever lived is the main antagonist, that distinction matters a lot. Number 4. Alan the Alien. Coming in at number 4 is everyone's favorite one-eyed alien, Alan. Alan's story is one of the most incredible power progressions in the entire series. He was born in an Unopan breeding camp, created through genetic experimentation for the sole purpose of being strong enough to fight Viltrumites. The program failed because even though Alan was the only success, he still was not strong enough. He became a champion evaluation officer for the Coalition, essentially testing planetary defenses across the galaxy, and that was supposed to be the extent of his usefulness. Then, a group of Viltrumites nearly beat him to death in space. After months in a healing pod, Alan woke up transformed. His body had adapted to the beating and emerged massively stronger, with a completely new physique and power levels that Thetus confirmed were at or near Viltrumite levels. And every time Alan takes a near-fatal beating, he comes back even stronger. Each power boost is supposedly massive, so by the time the Viltrumite War rolls around, Alan is one of the heaviest hitters the Coalition has. He has superhuman strength, speed, durability, can survive in space, has telepathic abilities, and eventually becomes the leader of the entire coalition of planets after Thetus dies. In the comics, Alan goes on to become powerful enough to beat Nolan in a fight, and plays a critical role in the final battle against Thrag's forces. He is the anti-Viltrumite weapon that the Unopans always dreamed of creating, and he is only getting stronger. Number 3, Invincible. At number 3, we have the man himself, Mark Grayson, Invincible. Going into Season 4, Mark is a changed person. The Invincible War broke him. Killing Conquest broke him further. He has abandoned his no-killing rule, and he is carrying an enormous amount of guilt and trauma. But all of that darkness has also forged him into an incredibly dangerous fighter. Mark is a half-Viltrumite, half-human hybrid, which means he has the full Viltrumite power set. Super strength, speed, flight, near invulnerability, and a healing factor. But the key detail about Viltrumite hybrids in this universe is that their powers continue to grow as they age. Mark is still young, and his power ceiling is astronomically high. In the comics, Mark eventually becomes powerful enough to fight Thrag one-on-one in the sun. He dragged Thrag into the surface of the sun, and they fought as their skin burned off, and Mark won. Barely. With help from a robot armor that briefly protected him, but he won. He killed Thrag by ripping his throat out with his teeth, and that was Mark in his 20s. By the end of the series, after a 500-year time skip, Mark has become the Emperor of the Viltrumite Empire, and is presumably far stronger than he was during that fight. For Season 4 specifically, Mark is not at that level yet, but he is powerful enough to be a key player in the Viltrumite War, and he is going to be facing threats that will push him further than he has ever been pushed before. Number 2, Battlebeast. At number 2 is Battlebeast, the warrior who lives for one thing and one thing only: finding an opponent worthy of giving him a glorious death in combat. Battlebeast is a Dornian, a race of lion-like aliens, and he is the greatest warrior his species has ever produced. He was originally the planetary guardian of his homeworld, but became so addicted to fighting that he abandoned his post to roam the galaxy, looking for anyone who could give him a real challenge.